Verse 13 again. Ye said also, behold, what a weariness it is, and ye have snuffled at it, saith the Most High of hosts. And ye brought that which was torn, and the lame, and the sick. Thus ye brought an offering. Should I accept this of your hand, saith the Most High Power? All right, so this is what our people were doing, man. We're half stepping when we're serving the Most High. We're not serving the Most High wholeheartedly, right? We're serving the Most High because we feel we have to instead of doing it willingly. Okay, so the Most High is not going to accept that, man, right? Verse 14. But curse be the deceiver which have in his flock a male, and voweth it, and sacrificeth unto the Most High a corrupt thing. For I am a great king, saith the Most High of hosts, which is the Most High Power, the creator of all things, right? And my name is dreadful among the heathen. Okay, so as referring back to the book of Deuteronomy, the 5th chapter, when you use the Most High's name in vain, it's also dreadful amongst the heathen. Okay, so that's the reason why they tell you his name is Yahuwah and Yahusha. Okay, Yahushua. His name is Jehovah. All right, Yahweh. Okay, all of these false names, man, so-called Jesus Christ, right? Virgin Mary also. They like to worship the mom. Okay, so this is the reason why they telling you all of these false names, man, because the real name, the pure authentic name, which is in the ancient Aramaic and Paleo Hebrew, what the Gabaret Hebrew, is dreadful to the heathens, man, right? They can't use that name because it's not their God, right? It's our God, which is the God of Israel, which is the so-called Negroes, Hispanics, Native Americans, and Seminole Indians of Negroid descent only, according to the African diaspora, right? It's our God, man, so only we can call on that name as our one and only true power, man. All right, that's the reason why it's dreadful amongst the heathen, because they can't call on that name. They got to call on their false idol gods, right? They got to call on Allah and Muhammad, Buddha, Krishna, Shiva, Madhava, okay, Satan himself, Lucifer himself in religious churchianity, right? So these are the names that they have to call on. They can't call on the pure, authentic name according to our God, man, right? That's the reason why Malachi says this in verse 14. But cursed be the deceiver. Who's the deceiver? That's your oppressors, man. The deceivers of the world, the ones who's going around deceiving people into worship in Caesarea Borgia, right? Which hath in his flock a male, and voweth it, and sacrifice it unto the Most High Power, a corrupt thing. For I am a great king, saith the Most High of creation, and my name is dreadful among the heathen. Okay, so even if you're of our nation of people, and you don't like to use the pure authentic name of the Most High, when you decide to call on the name instead of the title, then you're going to be considered as a heathen because you don't like to use the real name. It's like I said before, if you're going to call on the Most High's name instead of a title, then why don't you use the real name? But personally, I advise you not to use it at all, because we're not supposed to be using his name in vain, right? As it says in the book of Deuteronomy, the 5th chapter, right? So it's like I said before, that's the reason why I choose to use the title personally. I can't speak for anyone else's reason, but for my personal reason, that's why I use the title. And if I'm dealing with someone that's of a like-mindedness, that's of the same faith, then we can use the authentic name, according to what we know, according to the ancient texts of the Aramaic language in the Paleo and Gabaret writings, man, right? In continuation, let's go to the book of Numbers, chapter 1. So like I said before, man, this is all about determining if someone's truly serving the Most High according to their fruits, which is their actions and their doings, man. If it's totally aligning with the biblical scriptures, like how they claim their life is, right? So once again, we in the book of Numbers, chapter 1, and I'm going to start at verse 1. And it reads, And the Most High spake unto Moses in the wilderness of Sinai, in the tabernacle of the congregation, on the first day of the second month, okay? Which would be around, from like May to June, right? In the middle of May going into June, that would be like the second month, right? Or you could say, as a matter of fact, being that the first month of the year will be from March to April, then from April to May, Salakia, that would be considered the second month, right? In the second year after they were come out of the land of Egypt, saying, okay, so this is like, the second year that they've been out of captivity in the wilderness, right? Outside of Mizraim, right? Take ye the sum of all the congregation of the children of Israel after their families, by the house of their fathers, with the number of their names, every male, okay, every male, not female, by their polls, okay. Verse 3, from 20 years old and upward, all that are able to go forth to war in Israel, okay. Now, in this sense right here, right now, this can be spiritual war, okay, spreading the word, spreading the truth, amongst this sinful nation, tearing down strongholds, all right, casting out devils. What is the devils? The devils is the deceptions that people are holding on to, their false ideologies and philosophies and dogmas and analogies, right? Their idol gods, okay, casting out that Buddha statue out of their house, that Egyptian Ankh that's hanging on their wall, right? That picture of Caesarea Borgia, okay? Those are the strongholds and the devils, okay, that we cast out, right? So that's the war that's being spoken about here. Thou and Aaron shall number them by their armies. Verse 4. And with you there shall be a man of every tribe, every one head of the house of their fathers. Okay? So that just goes to show, to let you know that at 20 years of age, that's when you're able to go to war for the Most High, which is spiritual warfare, which I'm doing right now. This video alone right here is spiritual warfare. This is the war that's being broken out in the heavens, all right, in the spiritual realm, casting down strongholds and devils and deceptions and lies and deceptiveness, right? So this is the spiritual warfare, man, right? If you're not 20, or if you're younger than 20, you know what I'm saying, then this really ain't for you at the moment yet. But until you turn 20, then you can decide for your own if you're going to serve the Most High or if you're going to follow the gods of your parents, okay, which is most likely Caesarea Borgia, right? Buddha, Hinduism, all right? Islam, which is Allah and Muhammad, right? Depending on your upbringing in your household, right? So in continuation, let's jump down to verse 16, still in the book of Numbers, chapter 1. These were the renown of the congregation, princes of the tribes of the fathers, heads of the thousands in Israel. Verse 17, and Moses and Aaron took these men which are expressed by their names. Verse 18, and they assembled all the congregation together on the first day of the second month, and they declared the pedigree, okay, which is the lineage, right, after their families, by the house of their fathers, according to the number of the names, from 20 years old and upward, by their polls. Verse 19, as the Lord, which is the Most High Power, commanded Moses, so he numbered them all in the wilderness of Sinai. Okay, so that's another way that you can tell or recognize if someone's truly living by the word of the Most High. If they understand that the seed follows the man, right? Now, that's not to say that, the men of our nation should go out there and marry heathen women, because it never worked out right, for one. And then for two, you're going to bring wickedness and confusion amongst the children of Israel, because you're going to be having people amongst us that's not fully Israel. Okay, they're not from a holy union or marriage, so to speak. Okay, because they're dating women of the other nations. All right, that's the reason why the Most High destroyed the world with the flood, because the children of the Most High was mixing with the daughters of the children of men. Who's the children of men? The men of the world. Okay, and even in the book of Nehemiah, he was judging certain Israelite men for dating outside of the Israelite ethnicity. Okay, even in the book of Tobit, it says that. All right, so we're not supposed to be, and even according to the law, the Levitical law, we're not supposed to be dating women of the other nations, man. So you can't fully go by saying that if the seed is of Israel, then he's an Israelite. No, they have to be from a holy union, man, which is an Israelite woman and an Israelite man, which is the so-called Negroes, Hispanics, Native Americans, and Seminole Indians of Negroid descent only, man, right? So if they're following that, then they truly living by the word of the Most High, right? They understand that the lineage follows the dad. No ands, ifs, buts about it, man, right? That's like to say, if a man have daughters and he have sons, that man's lineage is going to continue through his sons. Now, that's not to say that the daughter that he have is not of his seed, but that to say that when the man's sons have sons, then his lineage is going to continue through his sons, because the man carries the seed. Okay, now when his daughter have children, it's going to be from that man's seed, whether it be an Israelite or it be a man from another nation. So if she have, like, say, a child through a Caucasian male or an Asian male that's not of Israel, right, then that seed is going to be of that man. He's going to be a Caucasian baby, or he's going to be an Asian baby. Or if that daughter decide to have a baby or a seed, so to speak, by an Arabic man, then that baby's going to be Arabic. Okay, the seed follows the dad, right? But if his sons have a child by a woman of another nation, technically he's going to be an Israelite, or she's going to be an Israelite, but they're going to be Israelite-ish. Okay, they're not going to be full Israel. Okay, so that's when the wickedness and the confusion and the so-called speckled birds is going to come amongst Israel. Okay, so, and that's not to say, like, according to the book of Isaiah, that Israel is like a speckled bird that looks like the other nations. That's not true. The Israelites don't look like the other nations. Okay, only when we mix and mingle amongst the other nations we look like the other nations. But the children of Israel have our own distinctive look, man. The Most High made us unique in every way. We don't look like the other nations. If we were to look like the other nations, then we won't be special. We won't be peculiar. Okay, so we don't look like the other nations, man. Only when we mix and mingle with the other nations, that's when we look like them. So that's how it's a sin to us, because it causes confusion. We don't know who's who. So that's the reason why I say, and the scripture says, that we have to have a holy union when we have our children with an Israelite woman. Okay, just like I always say with Judah and Tamar, they're from a holy union, even though Tamar was promised to his sons who died, and also those sons that died that were wicked, they was from heathen women, by the way. Okay, they died, right? But when Tamar had Judah's kids, which was Pharez and Zerah, they actually were from a holy union, because Tamar was from the chosen lineage. Okay, so her sons were actually authentic Israelites, because Judah is from Jacob, right? Jacob is Israel, which is the 12 tribes of Israel, the 12 sons. Okay, so Pharez and Zerah, they're actually Israelites. Okay, Unlike you could say with Joseph's sons, right? Joseph, he had Ephraim and Manasseh from an Egyptian woman. So they're not fully Israelites, even though the scriptures count them as the 12 tribes. But originally, they're not from a holy union because their mom is an Egyptian woman, right? But you got most people, they would add Pharez and Zerah instead of Ephraim and Manasseh because Pharez and Zerah, they're actually from a holy union, which is Judah and Tamar, two Israelites, right? So that's how you know when someone's really following the scriptures, when they understand that you have not only does the seed follow the dad, but they also have to be from a holy union, a holy matrimony, man, right? So moving along, let's go to the book of Numbers, chapter, which is one of the reasons why I'm doing this video, right? Well, all of the scriptures that I'm bringing out is the reason why I'm doing this video, but you know, this is one of the points that I was bringing out in the beginning of the video, right? So once again, we're in the book of Numbers, chapter 15, and I'm starting at verse 37, and it reads, And the Most High spake unto Moses, saying, Speak unto the children of Israel, and bid them, okay, when you look up the definition of bid, is to command, right? That they make them fringes in the borders of their garments throughout their generations, and that they put upon the fringe of the borders of ribbon of blue. Okay, so with this right here, when it says the border of the garments, right, it doesn't necessarily mean the ending of the bottom of your shirt, because if you look up the definition of border, it's a split between two major lands. It's not the ending of something, or it's not the start of water from land, right? Even though that's used interchangeably when they're talking about the borders of a land, they're talking about where it begins from sea, but technically that's not a border. The border is between two major lands, right? You could say the United States and Canada is a border. You could say the United States and Mexico is a border, right? You could say Canada and Alaska is a border, okay? You could say Israel and Egypt is a border, and the Gaza Strip, okay? So that's technically your border. So your borders in your garments would be the inseam of your clothing, like in your shirt sleeve, right? Or it could be the middle, the side in the middle of your shirt where the seam is going down, the threading. That's technically the borders of your shirt, okay? It doesn't necessarily mean the ending, the bottom of your shirt, okay? But you can make a border by putting a ribbon of blue sort of above the bottom of your shirt, and then you put the fringes there, right? You can make a border, but the ending of your shirt technically isn't the border, it's the inseams, right? The line that's going between the fabric of your, your 100% linen or cotton shirt, preferably linen, right? In continuation, verse 39. It shall be unto you for a fringe, that ye may look upon it and remember. Okay? It says, and remember. Now, there's a comma between it and, right? And, so to speak. So, that's not to say that when you look upon your fringes, the only reason why you're wearing with fringes is to remember the law, statutes, the commandments of the Most High. No, that's not really the reason, because there's a comma there. That means it's going into speaking about something else. Okay? So that goes to show that wearing the fringes is a law, and plus after the comma, when it says, and to remember the commandments of the Most High, that means to continue to keep the commandments of the Most High. It's not necessarily saying that you're wearing the fringes just to remember the commandments of the Most High. You always supposed to remember the commandments of the Most High, because wearing the fringes is a part of the commandments of the Most High, right? So you don't need to wear the fringes to remember the commandments. As it says in the book of Joshua, You're supposed to meditate on the laws day and night only anyway. So you're not supposed to be, the main focus and objective to wear fringes is not to remember the laws of the Most High, right? Because you're supposed to be doing that anyway, as it says this right here. And it shall be unto you for a fringe, that ye may look upon it, comma, and remember all of the commandments of the Most High, comma, and do them, and that ye seek not after your own heart and your own eyes, after which ye used to go a whoring. Okay, when you go a whoring, that means you're following your own mind and your own heart in false idol gods and philosophies, right? So when you're going after your own heart, that means you're saying, oh, well, I don't have to wear the fringes because we're in captivity, and we don't want to expose ourselves to the world, so we don't wear fringes. Now, don't get me wrong, I understand that you have to move in wisdom and knowledge, right? But we're not in a time where there's a whole bunch of people just going around hunting Hebrew Israelites looking to kill them and terminate them. Now, we're not in that time. So we can actually wear these fringes so we can let another brother and sister know from afar, if they're of the faith, that, hey, I'm a commandment keeper too. I have on my fringes. That's how you're going to recognize me. But just like I said before, if we're both not wearing fringes, but we're still both keeping the laws of the Most High, how are we going to know that if we cross paths? We're not going to know that because no one have on the holy garments. No one's being holy, set apart in the crowd. We look just like everyone else, right? So that's the reason why we have to wear these fringes, man. Just to let the other brethren and sister know, hey, you're keeping the commandments, I'm keeping the commandments too. But just like I said before, I had a lot of brothers walk up on me and they don't have fringes, but they claim to be in the faith 1, 2, and 3 years. And I'm like, well, wait a minute. This is a minor commandment. Why aren't you keeping this minor commandment if you claim to be keeping the law, statutes, commandments of the Most High? Right? So that's something to think about there, man. So I always been sort of skeptical about brothers like that, man. And sisters too. Verse 40, that ye may remember and do all my commandments and be what? Holy. Okay? Set apart from the crowd unto your power. Verse 41, I am the Most High, your power, which brought you out of the land of Egypt to be your power, and I am the Lord your power. All right, so he's reiterating this like 3 times, like, yo, I'm your God. Okay, I'm your power. Follow my commandments. Do what I tell you to do, which is wear fringes. Okay, so that's how you're going to determine, once again, if someone's truly living according to the ways of the Most High, man. Right? Let's go to the book of Leviticus, chapter 11. And we're going to start at verse 1. And it reads, And the Most High spake unto Moses and Aaron, saying unto them, Speak unto the children of Israel, which is the so-called Negroes, Hispanics, Native Americans, and Seminole Indians of Negroid descent, right? Speak unto the children of Israel, saying, These are the beasts which ye shall eat among all the beasts that are in the earth. Verse 3, Whosoever parteth the hoof and is cloven-footed, and cheweth the cud among the beasts, ye shall eat. Verse 4, Nevertheless, these shall ye not eat of them that cheweth the cud, or of them that divideth the hoof, as the camel. Okay, the camel is an unclean animal, right? In which, the so-called Islamic people or Muslims like to have amongst them, right? Because he cheweth the cud, but divideth not the hoof, he is unclean unto you. All right. Now, even of the Islamic faith, they permit them to eat camel. Okay, if they're in dire needs, they're in desperate measures, right? But if you're truly serving the Most High, even if you're in dire needs and you're desperate, you're still not supposed to sin, because camel is an unclean animal, right? Just like Hamashiach says in the Gospels, he that endureth to the end shall be saved. Okay, not if he endures until he's in a dire need and then he decides to sin and then he's going to be saved. That's not what the scripture says, right? But the Muslim claims to follow the Torah, right? So that's strike one for you guys. Verse 4 again. Nevertheless, thee shall ye not eat of them that chew the cud, or of them that divideth the hoof as the camel, because he cheweth the cud, but divideth not the hoof, he is unclean unto you. Verse 5. And the coney, because he cheweth the cud, but divideth not the hood, he is unclean unto you. Verse 6. And the hare, okay, what is the hare? That's the rabbit, the bunny, right? Okay, so that means no rabbit stew for our people, right? No bunny stew, okay? Even Easter. What does Easter symbolizes? The bunny, okay? So if the bunny is unclean, why would the Most High glorify that? All right? Because he cheweth the cud, but divideth not the hoof, he is unclean unto you. Verse 7. And the what? The swine, okay? The swine, though he divideth the hoof and be cloven footed, yet he cheweth not the cud, he is unclean unto you. Okay, so no pig, all right? No sausage from Dollar Tree, okay? No bacon, no turkey bacon. All that is just mechanically made, which is pork, okay? It tastes like bacon. So how the hell is this turkey bacon that tastes like swine bacon? All right, so all of that stuff our people got to put away, man. That's all lust of the flesh. You can't put that bacon down, so you're looking for a substitute that's so-called turkey bacon, right? But all that is pork, man. That's all it is, right? Me personally, I haven't eaten that stuff in many years, man. I can't even remember, right? Not to boast, though. Verse 7 again from the top. And the swine, though he divideth the hoof and be cloven footed, yet he cheweth not the cud, he is unclean unto you. Verse 8. Of their flesh shall ye not eat, and their carcasses shall ye not touch. They are unclean unto you. So we're not even supposed to be touching the swine, man, right? Verse 9. These shall ye eat of all that are in the waters, whatsoever have fins and scales in the waters, in the seas, and in the rivers shall ye eat. Okay, so that's talking about removable fins and scales, right? Because there's a lot of unclean fish out there with scales, but they're not unmovable. They stick to them. They don't shed, like as a snake skin or as fish with movable scales. Those scales remain on them and they're hard to remove. All right, those are unclean fish, and some of them are predatory fish. We're not supposed to eat anything that's predatory, right? So there's a difference between just having felled scales and fins and removable scales and fins, right? Whatsoever have fells and skins, fells and skins, fins and scales in the waters and in the seas and in the rivers shall ye eat. Verse 10. And all that have not fells, I'm about to say it again, fins and scales in the seas and in the rivers, for all that move in the waters, and of any living thing which is in the waters, they shall be an abomination, meaning a hateful, abhorring thing unto you if it don't have fins and scales, man. So say no to your catfish sandwich. Say no to your clams, your mussels, okay, your octopus salad, and things of that nature, man. Your eel fish, all right? You're not supposed to be eating those things, man. Your alligator meat, okay? You're not supposed to be eating that, man. Your shark meat, your tuna fish also. Tuna fish is unclean. Tuna fish is a smooth-bodied fish, man. They don't have fins and scales. A lot of people within our faith too don't know that. All right, so you're not even supposed to be eating tuna fish, man. All right, so even for the Sabbath, you're not supposed to be eating tuna fish. That's unclean, right? Do the research. Verse 11. They shall be an abomination unto you. Ye shall not eat of their flesh, but ye shall have their carcasses in abomination. So if you're going to eat their carcasses, you're going to be eating it in abomination to the Most High, because he's going to abhor you for that, right? Verse 12. Whatsoever have no fins nor scales in the waters, that shall be an abomination unto you. So the Most High is reiterating that 4 times, man, right? From verses 10 to 12, he said it 4 times, the word abomination. So he's letting you know you're not supposed to be eating your shrimp and scampi, your seafood and land platter, man, all right? With the shrimps, the lobster tails, the crab legs, the king crab legs, right? The snow crabs. You're not even supposed to be having that stuff, man, right? Your raw clams with the ice and the lemon and the hot sauce on it with the cocktail sauce, right? The shrimps with the mixture of the mayonnaise and the ketchup, right? You're not supposed to be having that stuff, man, right? I know about that because I used to eat it back in the day, right? But all thanks and praise due to the Most High, he shined his light upon me of wisdom and knowledge. Now, I look at that stuff and I abhor it too. And I abhor seeing our people eat it, man, right? That's why I judge our people that eat that stuff, because we're not supposed to be doing it if we claim to be so-called Christians, right? So this is what we're supposed to be doing, man. Okay, let's go to the book of Genesis, chapter 38. Now, this is going to be in reference to the book of Numbers, chapter 1, right, concerning the seed. So this, like I said, man, this is all about recognizing who's truly following and living by the word of the Most High, right? So we're going to go to the book of Genesis, chapter 38. And I'm going to start at verse 24. And it reads, and it came to pass about 3 months after that it was told Judah, okay, who is Judah? That's the son of Jacob, right, from Leah, her 4th son, which is from a holy union, by the way, right? Saying, Tamar, thy daughter-in-law, have played the harlot. Okay, so if Tamar was a heathen, Judah wouldn't promise or espouse Tamar to his son. Okay, because Judah was keeping the ways of his fathers, which is Jacob, Isaac, and Abraham, right? Tamar, thy daughter-in-law, hath played the harlot, and also, behold, she is with child by whoredom. And Judah said, bring her forth and let her be burnt. Okay, so according to the law, okay, in which people say that the laws are in Genesis, but right here, even according to the Levitical law, if a wife is caught fornicating with another man when she's married, then both of them shall be put to death according to the old law, right? But Hamashiach gave us grace. So, if a woman slips up and do that, then she have to repent, right? And confess her sins. Okay, but according to this law right here, before the grace of Hamashiach, Judah said, yo, bring her here and burn her, right? She was espoused to my son, but here she is playing the hoe. So we're going to burn her, right? She's wicked, right? But here's the twist. Verse 25. When she was brought forth, she sent to her father-in-law, saying, by the man whom these are, am I with child? And she said, discern, I pray thee, who are these, the signet and the bracelets and staff? All right, so she's telling the people who Judah told to bring her to him to be burnt, like, yo, since you know Judah so well, then you should know these. This is what he gave me. And I'm letting you know that the child that I'm carrying, that I'm bearing, is of his seed, right? Verse 26. And Judah acknowledged them and said, She hath been more righteous than I, because I gave her not to Shelah my son, and he knew her again no more, meaning that he didn't mess around with her no more. But see, but there's a twist. If you read the story from verses 1 all the way to what I'm reading up to now in the book of Genesis 38, you will understand, the reason why Judah slept with Tamar, right? It wasn't because he willingly did it. It's because he was sort of like deceived into doing it, right? He didn't know what he was doing, right? So in continuation, and it came to pass in the time of her travail that, behold, twins were in her womb, right? Twins were in her womb, just like, with Isaac and Rebekah and Esau and Jacob, right? And it came to pass when she travailed that the one put out his hand and the midwife and took and bound up his hand a scarlet thread, which is a red thread, right? Saying, this one came out first, okay? Just like Jacob and Esau. Who was the first one that came out? Esau, okay? So the red bracelet was put on the first one hand, right? Verse 29, and it came to pass as he drew back his hand, that behold, his brother came out, right? And turning the page, and she said, how hast thou broken forth? This breach be upon thee. Therefore his name was called Pharez. Okay, so Pharez was the second one that came out from Tamar that was of Judah's seed, right? Verse 30, and afterward came out his brother that had the scarlet thread on his hand, and his name was called Zerah. Okay, so Zerah and Pharez is from Tamar, which is a holy union. She was of the chosen lineage. So that makes them authentic Israelites, right? Because Jacob is their grandfather, okay? And Judah is their dad. So they're original Israelites, man, okay? So in continuation to this right here, we're going to go to Genesis 46. And we're going to start at verse 5. Just to let you know, this is referring to the seed, right? And it reads, and Jacob rose up from Beersheba, and the sons of Israel carried Jacob their father and their little ones and their wives and the wagons which Pharaoh had sent to carry them. Verse 6. And they took their cattle and their goods which they had gotten in the land of Canaan, and came into Egypt, Jacob and all his seed with him. Okay, so that's letting you know that Jacob and the sons, okay, which is the 12 tribes, is of Jacob's seed. All right. Verse 7. His sons and his sons' sons, okay, which is his grandsons, with him, his daughters and his sons' daughters, and all his seed brought with him into the land of Egypt. Okay, so once again, that's reiterating that the seed is of the man, right? Let's jump down to verse 12. And the sons of who? Judah, which is and Onan and Shelah, and Pharez and Zerah. Okay, but and Onan died in the land of Canaan. Okay, and the reason why they died, you can read that story in Genesis 37 and 38. And plus they were of heathen women too, because they was wicked. That's the reason why they did die, because they was doing wickedly. They wasn't doing according to the customs of the chosen ones, right? And the sons of Pharez and Harazon and Harmul. Okay, so even Pharez, he had two sons, which was Harazon or Hezron and Hamul, right? So actually they were Israelites too, because Pharez is of Judah. Okay, let's jump down to verse 15. These be the sons of Leah, okay, which she bare unto Jacob in Padanaram, and his daughter Dinah. All the souls of his sons and his daughters were 33. Okay, so there was 33 sons of Judah. Okay, hence that number 33. All right, so that's letting you know there that the souls, okay, which is not the spirit, all right, but it's used interchangeably as a spirit. But when it refers to your soul, that's referring to your flesh, okay? As it says right here, it doesn't say that all the spirits of the sons and of his daughters were 33. It says all the souls of Judah and his sons and his daughter was 33, okay? So that's also letting you know that that's a holy union that Judah had those children by, which was of Leah, right? It wasn't of Zilpah and Bilhah. A lot of people like to say that Zilpah and Bilhah was Leah and Rachel's sisters, but Zilpah and Bilhah was handmaids, right? And they was Laban's handmaids that was given to Leah and Rachel. So if Zilpah and Bilhah was original chosen lineage people, then why were they handmaids according to the law? Even though Laban was an idolater, but according to the law, you're not supposed to have people of your nation as servants and handmaids, right? So someone's breaking the law there. Even though Laban was an idolater, but he was still keeping the laws of the chosen people, which was of his people. So why would he turn his two younger daughters to servants to his two older daughters? That don't make any sense, right? And there's nothing else to prove, historically or archaeologically that proves that, Zilpah and Bilhah were of, the lineage of people, man. They weren't of Abraham and Isaac. Okay, so, that's something to think about there. Okay, and just like I said before, what Ephraim and Manasseh, they was born to Egyptian moms, okay, from Joseph. So they weren't of a holy union. They was half and half. All right, so the only ones that was really from a holy union was from and Tamar, in which they had Pharez and Zerah. All right, so if you're truly following the seed of the dad, okay, with a holy union, then you would understand that. And then you would know that these people are truly serving the Most High according to how they're supposed to serve him, right? So in continuation, let's go back to the book of Leviticus, chapter 19. Okay, so we're in the book of Leviticus, chapter 19, and I'm starting 15. And it reads, Ye shall do no unrighteousness in judgment. Thou shalt not respect the persons of the poor, nor honor the persons of the mighty, but in righteousness shalt thou judge thy neighbor. Okay, so this is what we're supposed to be doing. We're supposed to be judging in righteousness amongst our people, man. Just like I said before, if you see our people in sin and you're not committing that sin yourself, then you can judge your people that's in sin. Okay, this like Hamashiach says in the Gospels, how can you cast the mote out of someone's eye and then you have a beam in yours, right? So you can't be accusable for that same sin or a worse sin, and then you're trying to judge someone else's sin, okay? So Hamashiach wasn't saying don't judge people at all, but he was saying don't judge people in their sin when you know that you're in sin or a similar sin, right? And this is according to the old law too in the book of Leviticus, right? Ye shall do no unrighteousness in judgment. Thou shalt not respect the persons of the poor, nor honor the persons of the mighty. But in righteousness shalt thou judge thy neighbor, which is your own fellow brethren and sister of your own nation, because the laws isn't given to anyone else but the children of Israel, the so-called Negroes, Hispanics, Native Americans, Seminole Indians of Negroid descent only from the African diaspora, right? Verse 16. Thou shalt not go up and down as a talebearer among thy people, neither shalt thou stand against the blood of thy neighbor. I am your Lord, which is the Most High Power, right? So as I was saying before, don't be a liar and a slanderer amongst your people, man, right? And don't stand against the blood. Don't stand against your own fellow brethren and sister for any cause, unless they're in sin, all right? Verse 17. Thou shalt not hate thy brother in thy heart. Thou shalt in any wise rebuke thy neighbor, and not suffer what sin upon him. Salakia. Okay, so that's the only time that you're supposed to be rebuking your own fellow brother and sister if they're in sin, because you're not supposed to suffer sin upon them, right? Verse 18. Thou shalt not avenge nor bear any grudge against the children of thy people, but thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. I am the Most High Power. Salakia. So this, like I was saying before, in all of my other videos, you're not supposed to be bearing a grudge against your people, and you're not supposed to be a vengeful person amongst your people, meaning you're not supposed to have a vengeful spirit. Salakia. So this is how you originally keeping the laws, right? The voice got a little itchy there. Verse 18 again from the top. Thou shalt not avenge nor bear any grudge against the children of thy people, but thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. I am the Most High Power. Right? In continuation, let's jump down to verse 27. Okay, here we go here. Okay, verse 27, still in the book of Leviticus, chapter 19, and it reads, Ye shall not round the corners of your head, neither shalt thou mar the corners of thy beard. Okay, meaning that you're not supposed to be getting edge-ups. Okay, so, even the barbers themselves, right? And if you really think about it, that's the reason why, the powers that shouldn't be, they allow our people to open up all of these barbershops, because unknowingly our people are in sin, and they don't even realize that. Why? Because they don't read the scriptures. Okay, they don't believe in the scriptures, but just by them having a barber and edging the men of our nation up, even the women, right? They're in sin actually doing that to their God if they're of the nation of Israel, if they're the so-called Negroes, Hispanics, Native Americans, Seminole Indians of Negroid descent, right? So just from that little understanding there, a lot of our people are in sin and they don't even realize that, right? That's why our people are always judged. All of these calamities are always coming on our people because we're in sin and we don't even know it, right? Just like I brought out a video concerning that, like 2 or 3 videos. You can check it out whenever you get the chance, right? In continuation, ye shall not make any cuttings in your flesh for the dead, nor print any marks upon you. I am the Most High. So if you're of this faith, or if you're a so-called Christian, which is a churchgoer, you're not even supposed to have tattoos. Now, I thank the Most High that I don't even have one tattoo. I thank the Most High that he haven't put that spirit on me to get tattoos, right? But unfortunately, a lot of people that I know, even in my family, and my immediate family, right? I'm not talking about the family of my own, which is my seed, but of my immediate family, right? They have tattoos. And according to the biblical scriptures, for our people, that is a sin. We're not supposed to be having tattoos or any cuttings in our flesh for the dead, right? Which is giving honor to false gods or idols, okay? Just like they do in the Divine Nine and these sororities and fraternities, right? Slakia, the Divine Nine, right? A lot of them, they get the cuttings in their flesh or they get their skin burnt, right, by a symbol of that certain fraternity that they're in or sorority that's putting a cutting in your flesh. You're not supposed to do that in honor of a dead person. All right, that's all that is. Even though they worship them as gods, but they're just regular men that they're worshiping. So you're actually honoring the dead by doing that, right? And then when you have the markings in your skin, which is the tattoos, that's also sin. Okay, so we're not supposed to be doing that as a nation of people, man. Right? There's a couple of rappers out there that don't have tattoos, right? I think it's I'm not too sure. I think it's Ice Cube and I think it's Lil Baby, right? And he actually did a an interview stating that one time. He said, "I'm very, very thankful that I didn't have the mind to get tattoos because when I get older, I don't want to look down at my tattoos and it's looking all wrinkled and out of place and out of order, and I'm not going to look presentable to people who I may want to do business with in the future." And I said, yeah, that's a way to look at it. You know what I'm saying? That's actually a good way to look at it, but that's not the main reason why you shouldn't get tattoos. The main reason why you shouldn't get those tattoos is because it's a sin to your God, man, right? It's not because you want to do business with your oppressors and make them rich. Okay, you're building of another man's foundation, and it's actually a sin for us to build upon another man's foundation. Okay, so that's what you're doing. So you're actually saying that you're not getting a tattoo because of that reason, but that shouldn't be the main reason why you didn't get tattoos, man, right? But you're on a good track. Okay, so if Lil Baby happened to hear this video or anyone he knows hear this video, then they can enlighten him to why you shouldn't have tattoos, man, right? Now, if you're a brother and sister in the faith and you happen to get those tattoos before the Most High awakened you and shined his light upon you, then you can't be held accountable for that. Just as it says in the book of Ezekiel, the 18th chapter, if you repent and do righteousness thereon, then your sins from the past won't be remembered, right? So, if you get tattoos, if you have gotten tattoos before you came into the faith, then you should be clear to that, right? Unless you black side. So just to clear that up a little bit, that's not to say, hey, I'm in the faith, but, I want to get another tattoo. So I'm going to get another tattoo. Then I'm just going to tell the Most High, hey, forgive me for this, but I have this new tattoo. No, that's not the way that works. Once you come into this faith and then you find out about this law and ordinance, then you're supposed to repent altogether from getting tattoos, man, right? In continuation, let's go to verse 30. Still in the book of Leviticus. So these are a lot of laws that our people don't know about, man, that we break on a daily basis and have no idea of, man, right? But just like I said, the point of this video is for if you really truly claim to be following the ways of the Most High, these are the things that you should recognize in people doing, right? This will be their fruits, right? This will be their ministering on to our people of things that we should be aware of and that we shouldn't be doing, right? But we're in verse 30, still in the book of Leviticus, chapter 19, and it reads, "Ye shall keep my Sabbaths and reverence my sanctuary. I am the Lord." Verse 31. "Regard not them that have familiar spirits, neither seek after wizards to be defiled by them. I am the Lord your God." Okay, so Right here, this is saying we're not supposed to be dealing with tarot. We're not supposed to be dealing with any witchcrafts. We're not supposed to be hanging around any warlocks and wizards and witches. Okay, and we should be keeping the fourth commandment, which is the seventh day Sabbath. Okay, so that's written plainly there. So I'm pretty sure everybody and their mom know exactly who a witch and a wizard is and a warlock, man. All right, and tarot readers and fortune tellers and stargazers and future tellers, right? We shouldn't be dealing with these people, so-called gypsy women, so to speak, right? Old, you you know about that type of thing, right? Pause. In continuation, let's go to chapter 25 in the book of Leviticus. I'm going to bring out a few scriptures, then I'm going to end it there. I think I'm well over 2 hours, right? But when you're doing the work of the Most High, it don't matter, right? When you're in the spirit, you got to flow in the spirit, man. Right? And once again, this is your brother Yahweh Yasharah from the Sea Souls of Israel, the Rocks of Offense, and also the ambassadors for righteousness, the restorers of paths and the repairers of the breach, and the advocates for Christ. Again, dropping you another video. Hopefully that is gratifying. Hopefully that is edifying and enjoyable thus far. So once again, we're in the book of Leviticus, chapter 25, verses 36. And it reads, "Take thou no usury of him, or increase, but fear thy power, that thy brother may live with thee." Okay, so right here, this is letting you know what usury, when you look up the definition of usury, that's giving loans. Okay, you're lending money to someone and hoping to collect that person. So if I was to lend someone $50, I'm going to be looking for 80 back. That's usury. We're not supposed to be doing it with our nation of people, man, right? That's a sin that our people don't know about, but they still commit that sin every single day, right? In continuation, "Thou shalt not give him thy money upon usury." Okay, so that's actually letting you know what that is, right? "Nor lend him thy victuals for increase." Okay, so when you look at victuals, that means food, meaning you're not supposed to be giving food out to your people for sale, right? And a lot of people, I can pretty much say our whole nation of people don't know about this sin right here. And just like the barbershops, it's like I said concerning them, that's the reason why the powers that shouldn't be allow our people to open up all of these restaurants besides barbershops, because we're actually committing sin by selling our people victuals. When you look up the definition of victuals, that's food. Okay, so you're not supposed to be doing that. That's a sin. You're not supposed to have your so-called Jamaican restaurant, your Trini restaurant, your Dominican restaurant, your Puerto Rican restaurant. Even for our people, you're not supposed to have your Native American restaurant. You're not supposed to have your so-called African American Negro restaurant, because that's a sin. And the powers that shouldn't be knows that, so they allow you to open these places to continue in sin. That's why the Most High is going to continue to judge his people, man. Right? So this is the reason why I'm doing this video here, to let our people know that these are sins that we're breaking on a daily basis that we have no idea of, man. Right? That's why the Most High is upset and wroth with our people, man. Right? In continuation, verse 38. "I am the Most High your power, which brought you forth out of the land of Egypt, to give you the land of Canaan, and to be your God." Okay, so just as always, man, when we obey the Most High, he gives us other people's lands, right? Just as it is very capable of today. If we obey the Most High, guess what? This place right here will be ours, as it should be. Okay, North America, the so-called United States, which is in the middle. which is also known as Central America. Before it was called the United States, but it's really Central America. So you got North America, which is Canada. You got Central America, which is known as the United States. Then you have the other Central America, which is known as Mexico. And then you have the so-called Panamanian Canal, in which connects Central America to South America. And then you have South America itself. Okay, so but if we obey the word to the Most High, our people, which is the so-called Negroes, Hispanics, Native Americans, Seminole Indians of Negroid descent, the Most High will give us this land, man, right? This is what he always promised to us throughout the scriptures, man, right? Only if we follow this one simple law. Like it said here, verse 37 again, thou shalt not give him thy money upon the usury, nor lend him thy victuals for increase. Increase is profit, money. Verse 38, I am the Lord your God, which is the Most High your power, which brought you forth out of the land of Egypt to give you the land of Canaan and to be your God, man, right? Let's go to the book of Acts, chapter 23. Okay, so once again, we're in the book of Acts, chapter 23, and I'm starting at verse 1, and it reads, And Paul, earnestly beholding the council, said, Men and brethren, I have lived in all good conscience before the Most High Power until this day. Verse 2, And the high priest Ananias commanded them that stood by him to smite him on the mouth, meaning to hit him on the mouth, right, or punch him or smack him, right? Verse 3, Then said Paul unto him, The Most High shall smite thee. Okay, for you hitting me, the Most High is going to smite you, right? Thou whited wall, for sittest thou to judge me after the law, and commandest me to be smitten contrary to the law? Right? So Paul, like, yo, you being a hypocrite. How you going to judge me? Just like he said right here, right? How you going to judge me according to the law and smitting me contrary to the law for doing the law, right? As it says right here, thou witted wall, for sittest thou to judge me after the law, and commandest me to be smitten contrary to the law. Verse 4, And they stood by and said, Revelest thou the Most High priest? So they asking Paul, like, why are you reveling? You know, you're supposed to be a priest of the Most High God. Why you're reveling? You're not supposed to revel, right? Verse 5, Then Paul said, I would not, brethren, that he was the high priest, for it is written, Thou shalt not speak evil of the ruler of thy people, the ruler of your own people, which is the so-called Negroes, Hispanics, Native Americans, and Seminole Indians of Negroid descent only. You're not supposed to be a talebearer in speaking evil of your own people, man, right? Verse 6, And, you know, who's to say that Paul haven't kept the law? Right here is a prime example that Paul was keeping the laws, man, right? Simply by not doing that. Verse 6, But when Paul perceived that the one part was the Sadducees and the other was Pharisees, he cried out in the council, Men and brethren, I am a Pharisee, the son of a Pharisee, of the hope and resurrection of the dead. I am called in question. Okay, the resurrection of the dead is the ones who's spiritually dead. They don't know that they're Israelites. They're not keeping the law, statutes, and commandments of the Most High. That's why they were known as the dead, not literally dead, right? Verse 7, And when he had so said, there arose a dissension between the Pharisees and the Sadducees, and the multitude was divided. Verse 8. For the Sadducees said that there is no resurrection, neither angel nor spirit, but the Pharisees confess both. Okay, so that's letting you know that all the Pharisees were evil, man. Right? The Pharisees actually kept the law, and some of them believed in the Most High, and they believed in the resurrection. But the Sadducees, they was more so anti. They didn't believe in keeping the laws, and also they didn't believe in the resurrection of Hamashiach, right? Verse 8 again. For the Sadducees say that there is no resurrection. Who's that resurrection speaking about? That's speaking about Hamashiach being quickened in the spirit, right? Neither angel, okay, which is the messenger, all right, nor spirit, which is the Holy Spirit, okay, but the Pharisees confess both, right? So he's letting you know that the Pharisees confessed all of these things, right? So they believed, right? Verse 9. And there arose a great cry, and the scribes that were of the Pharisees part arose and strove, saying, we find no evil in this man. Okay, so that's letting you know once again that the Pharisees are saying this right here. We find no evil in this man. Who's the man that's being spoken about? Paul, right? But if a spirit or an angel have spoken to him, let us not fight against who? Our God. So this is what the Pharisees are saying, man, right? He's saying if a spirit or an angel, which is the Holy Spirit, and the angel, who's the angel? The messenger. Who was the messenger? Hamashiach, Christ of Nazareth, right? He was the messenger of the Most High, right? But if a spirit or an angel have spoken to him, let us not fight against God, which is our God, the God of Israel, the God of the Bible, which is the so-called Negroes, Hispanics, Native Americans, Seminole Indians of Negroid descent. So that's letting you know right there that all Pharisees wasn't evil, but the Sadducees were. And also that's letting you know that Paul was keeping the laws, man. See how people got to read these scriptures, man. Reading is fundamental, as it says, right? Pause. In continuation, let's go to the book of 2 John, chapter 1. And I'm going to start at verse 1. And it reads, the elder unto the elect lady and her children, whom I love in the truth, and not I only, but also all they that have known the truth. Okay, who's the people that's known the truth? The hopeful 1/3 elect, the ones who's keeping the laws of the Most High, right? In continuation, for the truth's sake, which dwelleth in us and shall be with us forever. Verse 3. Grace be with you, mercy and peace from the Most High Power, the Adonai, and from Hamashiach, the Son of the Father, in truth and love. Verse 4. I rejoice greatly that I found of thy children walking in truth, as we have perceived a commandment from the Father. Verse 5. And now I beseech thee, lady, not as though I wrote a new commandment unto thee, but that which we had from the beginning, that we love one another. Okay, so love conquers all, man. It's like I said, when you have love in your heart, right, you can pretty much go anywhere, right? Because naturally amongst our people, we are naturally an embracing, loving people. So if you approach our people with love, you're going to have nothing but respect from our people, man, because we are a loving people, right? But it's like I said, if you come around with any kind of hatred and tripping, you're going to get the business, so to speak, right? Pause. Verse 6. And this is the love, right? What is the love? That we walk after his commandments. Okay, who's the his? That's the most high power, right? This is the commandment, that as ye have heard from the beginning, ye shall walk in it. Okay. Verse 7. For many deceivers are entered into the world. Hamashiach is not come in the flesh. This is a deceiver and an antichrist. So he's letting you know who's the antichrist, right? All of these people walking around talking about, oh, the antichrist is coming. He's on the way. Look out for the antichrist. But the antichrist been in the world, right? They're your so-called Knights Templar, all right? AKA the Christendom Jesuits, who's the start of the Roman Catholic Church and religious churchianity. Okay, that's your antichrist. They're the ones that have the image of the beast in there. They honor Virgin Mary. You're not supposed to be honoring Virgin Mary, man. You're supposed to be honoring Christ of Nazareth. If you're not doing anything that, then you're an antichrist because you're not honoring Christ. Okay, so that's letting you know that that's the antichrist, what John says here, right? Verse 7 again. For many deceivers are entered into the world who confess not that Hamashiach is come in the flesh. This is what? A deceiver, which is a devil, and an antichrist. Okay. Verse 8. Look to yourselves that we lose not those things which we have wrought, but that we receive a full reward. Verse 9. Whosoever transgresseth and abideth not in the doctrine of Hamashiach have not the Most High. Okay, so that's letting you know also that Christ, when he was sent into this world, he was sent to do his Father's business, okay, not his own doctrine. He that abideth in the doctrine of Hamashiach, he have both the Father and the Son, because they was on one accord, right? Verse 10. If there come any unto you and bring not this doctrine, which is the scriptures, right? Receive him not into your house, neither bid him God speed, meaning don't tell him so-called God bless you, or don't wish him shalom, okay, or shalom, because you're not like-minded. You know, you're worshiping the God of the Bible, which is the God of Israel, but they're worshiping Allah. They're worshiping Muhammad. They're following Buddha, Krishna, Shiva, Madhava. They are part of the Divine Nine secret society, so to speak, right? Now, that's not to down the secret societies, because really, you know, they're following the scriptures, but they're doing it in another God's name, right? But really, originally, you know, we had organizations within Jerusalem, you know, that was a set apart people, the hopeful 1/3 elect. They was the ones that was keeping the ordinance and the laws and the commandments and the statutes of the Most High, right? That's what you would call, you know, your society that's speaking about, right? But of course, when the powers that shouldn't be driven us out of the land into exile, and then they conquered the world, then they switched everything around and named it in the name of evil. But before that, it was really a positive thing. It was a righteous thing, because we had a set apart people from the other people that was within our nation that was willful sinners. Okay. So that's the reason why when I say secret societies of today, this is the wicked ones that's keeping the customs in the name of a false idol god, right? Verse 10 again. If there come any unto you and bring not this doctrine, receive him not in your house, neither bid him Godspeed. Verse 11. For he that bideth him Godspeed is partaker of evil deeds. Salakia, let me read it again. Verse 11. For he that biddeth him Godspeed is partaker of his evil deeds. So, as it says here in verse 10, if you're bidding a sinner and an idolater, okay, or an agnostic atheist Godspeed, if you're telling them peace and shalom, then actually you're in a like-mind stage as him, and you're a partaker in his deeds, his wickedness. All right. So that's letting you know, don't bid sinners peace and shalom, because they don't have your best interests. Okay. That goes for people within the nation and without the nation. All right. Unfortunately, you have a lot of people within our nation that's not of like minds, right? So we're not supposed to be bidding them Godspeed, because If they hate you in your doings in which you are following the ways of the Most High, then they hate your God, which is ultimately their God, but they don't know that. So not only are they hating on you, but ultimately they hate your God. And if they hate your God, then you don't have no business in liking them, right? They're basically counted as the ops, so to speak, right? Pause. In continuation, once again, verse 11. For he that biteth him Godspeed, or biddeth him Godspeed, of his evil deeds, right? So we're going to go to the book of Second Peter, and we're going to end it there. So as it's written here, with biddeth or biteth, that could be potato, Greek or Latin, either one. It could be pronounced anyway, right? Okay, bear with me 1 minute here, brothers and sisters. So again, we're going to the book of Second Peter. It's a very small book. You can just breeze right past that, so you got to take your time, right? All right, so this is the grand closing from the grand opening about 2 hours ago or more, give or take, right? The book of Second Peter, chapter 2, starting at verse 1, and it reads, But there were false prophets among the people, even as there shall be false teachers among you, who privily shall bring in damnable heresies, even denying the Lord that brought them, and bringing up upon themselves swift destruction. Okay, so that's what's going on now. You have a lot of false teachers and false ministers and false prophets. They're telling you that you don't have to keep certain commandments because we're in captivity, or you can add a little bit of Hinduism to your belief of the scriptures. You can speak about chakras. You could practice yoga, right? Yoga is in the name of Yogi, which is an ancient Hindu god. You're not supposed to be practicing yoga if you're a sister in this faith, man, right? You're not supposed to be dipping and dabbing into churchianity. You say that you're keeping the laws, but you're visiting church with your family members that's still in sin and still in the world, right? You're putting your family above the Most High. And that's not to say you don't love your family, because the Most High gave you that family. Of course, you're supposed to love your family, but you're not supposed to be partaking in their wicked, evil deeds, man, right? In continuation. And many shall follow their pernicious ways, by reason of whom the way of truth shall be even spoken of. So if you're following sinners, family or not, friends or not, then the evil of the truth is going to be spoken of, right? They're going to perceive the truth to be evil. What is the truth? These scriptures, the keeping of the laws, statutes, and commandments, the keeping of the ordinances, the keeping of the holy days. They're going to consider this evil, right? This, as it says in the book of Malachi, because they wasn't really keeping the ways of the Most High properly, it wasn't profitable to them. The Most High wasn't blessing them. So now they want to speak evil of the Most High, right? As it's saying right here. And many shall follow their pernicious ways, by reason of whom way of the truth shall be evil spoken of. So they're going to tell you that keeping the Sabbath is evil. Oh, being that you're not able to eat whatever you want to eat, that's evil. I wouldn't want to serve a God like that. I want to serve a God that wants me to live how I want to live, right? Or live and let live. You only live once, right? That type of mentality, right? That's the kind of God that I want to serve. Well, if you're serving a God like that, then basically you're serving Satan, because that's chaos. It's confusion, right? It's a lot that's going on that you may not understand, right? Verse 3. And through covetousness shall they feign words make merchandise of you. So this is what they're going to do through their covetousness, through their wants, their desires, and lusts of what you have, your possessions, maybe even your wife. They're going to make merchandise of you. They're going to use you, right? They're going to use you for your home, for shelter for them. They're going to use you for your car, for your transportation. They might try to sleep with your wife, right? They're going to eat all of your food, right? So this is what this is going to be, man. They're going to make merchandise of you, right? As it says here. And through covetousness, okay? It didn't say through their own wants, their own mind. It says through covetousness, right? What does the 10th commandment says in the Big Ten? Thou shalt not covet. All right. So this is what the deceivers and the devils is going to do, man. The false ministers and the false teachers, right? And through covetousness shall they with vain words make merchandise of you, whom judgment now for a long time lingereth not, and their damnation slumbereth not. Verse 4. For if the Most High spared not the angels that sinned, but cast them down into hell and delivered them into chains of darkness to be reserved into judgment. Okay, so those angels that's being spoken about here is the messengers, right? The angels were the people of the Most High. The children of Israel, we were supposed to be the angels of the Most High. Okay, just as it says in the book of Genesis, right? You know, the angels of the Most High. Okay, so this is who we're supposed to be. We are the messengers of the Most High. And then it says right here, we sinned, meaning that we broke in the Most High's laws, statutes, and commandments, right? And then it said it cast us down into hell, which is the condition, the bottom of society, the bottom of the totem pole, the bottom of the pyramid, right? We're living in a two-tier society, okay, as it says here. But cast them down into hell, okay, which is our condition now for our people. You know what I'm saying? You know, we're the first fired and last hired. You know, we're shot down and killed by the oppressors without cause. Okay? We're ridiculed, we're judged, we're mocked on a daily basis, right? We're being forced to take the you know what. Okay? People are dying off daily. I just seen a report recently that they said 390 people are dying daily, right? How come this is out on the nightly news, on the mass media? Okay, how come this is not in the front of every newspaper, right? Because there's an agenda going on, man, right? There's a biological warfare going on our people, man, right? But cast them down into hell and deliver them into chains of darkness. Okay, what's those chains of darkness? That's your flesh. Okay, your flesh is sin. Your flesh is carnal. It's darkness when you're walking in the flesh. Okay, but when you're walking in the spirit of the Most High, which is the Holy Spirit, you're in the light. All right, but if not, you're in chains of darkness, right? To be reserved unto judgment, which is the second coming of Hamashiach, right? Verse 5. And spared not the old world, but saved Noah, the eighth person, a preacher of righteousness, bringing in the flood upon the world on the what? The ungodly. Okay, so Noah was a preacher of righteousness, which is a preacher of light, the ways of the Most High, right? Verse 6. And turning the cities of Sodom and Gomorrah into ashes, condemned them with an overthrow, making them an example unto those that after should live ungodly. Okay, so the Most High, that was our example. Like, yo, if you want to live ungodly, this is what's going to happen to you. I'm going to destroy you by fire, and which is going to be this destruction on the second coming of Christ. You know, this place is going to be destroyed by fire, man, right? The ICB missiles, so to speak. Okay. Verse 7. And delivered just Lot, vexed with the filthy conversation of the wicked. So Lot was even vexed with their conversation. He didn't even want to hear what they were speaking about, man, right? Because Lot was righteous. And the Most High destroyed Sodom and Gomorrah because of that, right? And he saved Lot, right, with his daughters. In continuation, in parentheses, for that righteous man dwelling amongst them, and seeing and hearing vexed his righteous soul, his righteous body, okay, from day to day with their unlawful deeds. Verse 9. The Most High Power knoweth how to deliver the godly. Who's the godly? The ones that's keeping the laws, statutes, and commandments of the Most High. The hopeful one-third elect, right? For the Most High knoweth how to deliver the godly out of temptations, and to reserve the unjust unto the day of judgment to be what? Punished. Verse 10. But chiefly them that walk after the flesh in the lust of uncleanness and despise government. Okay, what's the government? That's the laws, statutes, and commandments of the Most High, right? That's the authentic government. Presumptuous are they, self-willed, okay, self-projectory. They are not afraid to speak evil of dignities. Who's the dignity? The ones who's dignified, the ones who's have humility, right? Modesty. Okay, these are who these sinners speak evil of, right? Verse 11, grand closing. Whereas angels, which is the messengers, are greater in power and might. Okay, so we are the strongest people in this world, man. The angels, okay, the angels of the Most High. Bring not railing accusation against them before the Most High Power. Okay, so this is what you sinners need to stop doing, man. Don't be bringing railing accusations, okay, which is lies and slander against the righteous people of the Most High, which is the messengers and the angels, right? So I'm gonna end that there, man. This is a video, just like I said, about how you're going to determine who's really serving the Most High according to their fruits, their workings, their proof of ministry, if it's according to the biblical scripture, man, in the way they're living, right? So I'm gonna end this video here. And once again, this is Yahweh Yasharah for the Seed Souls of Israel, the Rocks of Offense, and also the ambassadors for righteousness, the restorers of paths, and the repairers of the breach, and the advocates for Christ. Once again, dropping you another video. Until the next time, I say, peace out, shalom.